Hello chess friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to have a look at a great game played by the legendary master Paul Morphy playing against Carpentier. This was in 1849. And if you observe the chessboard, you will notice that there is an error. It is an error from my side or from Morphy's side. It's not an error actually. In this game, Paul Morphy actually decided to give a rook odd, an entire rook odd to his opponent. And this would basically mean two things. First, he has to defeat his opponent early on. The reason for that is, of course, that if you go in an endgame with the rook down, this is simply going to lose. No matter even if you are the greatest player in the world, of course, this is going to be a difficult time. So Paul Morphy had to defeat his opponent early on in the opening or in the middle game itself, either to create a strong attack, some sort of an initiative, or use some kind of a tactical combination which actually happened in the game and win the game as soon as possible. So Morphy playing over here with white pieces, showing his superiority. Of course, how do you start? Let's put yourself in let's put yourself in the shoes of Paul Morphy. You are giving a rook odd. You don't have a rook. How do you play against an opponent in such kind of position? What opening do you choose? The thing is, you have to be as tactical and sharp as possible. So e4 is actually the move, best by test. This creates a lot of conflict early on in the game. It's not a strategical long-term game, but a very quick tactical one. This is the ideal one when you are giving a record. E5, knight to f3, attacks the pawn, knight c6, defends it. And now, let me just explain, there are three elements of chess. One is quality of pieces, the another is material, and third one is time. With time, I mean gain of time or gain of tempo. So basically, Paul Morphy will now use a strategy which is giving material in order to get activity and time on his side. So basically, he'll develop so many pieces very quickly by giving material. So he'll have two elements on his side, that is quality of pieces as well as gain of time. And black will have the material. So even though black will have a lot of material, white will still be better positionally, at least from a human point of view, because of the activity. So how do you do that? You play gambits, d4, asking him to capture. So you can see we develop with gain of time. He gives a check again. Now what's the best way to play over here? You can answer with bishop d2 or knight d2, which I think are bad moves. The simple reason being, you're giving a rook or you're a rook down. You don't really want to exchange more pieces because that would mean that it will be very easy for black to get some sort of an attack. That's why it's important to keep as many pieces on the board. So c3 is played. Again, Paul Morphy uses the technique of giving up material in order to get activity and time. Black wastes another move, capturing the pawn. White just castles in the meanwhile. Now you have takes, takes. And look at the greed of black. The pawn was on e7, came all the way to e5, d4, c3, b2. And what is the result of all of this? He has a lot of material, but we have two elements on our side. One element of that is quality of pieces. Look at our pieces. Pardon me, bishops. They are menacing. A knight and a pawn. This pawn can actually become an attacking piece, which did happen in the game. And the rook as well can sometimes come in the game if the bishop is not over here. So yes, white has got activity, and black has been wasting his time. So time is on our side. Now, after bishop takes b2, his opponent decided to defend the g7 square with the move bishop to f8. You can imagine the state of mind he was playing against. First of all, he's playing against one of the greatest players, so obviously such kind of moves are expected, to be honest, because when you're playing against such a great player, such moves do happen. You are under a lot of pressure. So of course, e5 played by white. Now the entire point is stop the knight from coming over here, and there's a hidden point behind this, as we are going to look at it now. d6 played by black. And I think this is the move where you have to really calculate and find the best move in the position. Paul Morphy played a move which is simply spectacular. I think this has to be the best move, despite the combination being really beautiful. I think this is the move where he calculated every single thing right till the very end. Rook to e1. This simple move has a lot of depth in it. Black takes the pawn. Now knight takes on e5. White has got all of his pieces developed. This is super bad for black. His king is still in the center, so something is going to happen. Black now again tries to exchange the queens. Now this generally is a very good idea. Whenever your opponent is attacking, you should try to exchange more and more material. But of course, Paul Morphy's idea is now revealed. You don't really capture back, but rather you play bishop takes f7, check. Now if the king steps over here, which I do think was still the best option for black. then we can simply capture on d1 with a check, and the attack continues. But of course, king e7. Again, under pressure, his opponent makes a mistake, and this is unfortunately a serious one. Now white plays knight to g6. If the king steps over here or here, you take the queen, and after that you take the rook. Of course, let me just show you. Over here, for example, you take this guy, and you don't really have too many squares. Let's say over here, then takes. You get a lot of material, and you get your material back, and white is definitely doing good. This hangs, this hangs. Knight is gonna come out alive. Very good position for white. So of course, after the move knight to g6, his opponent did not go on the d file, but rather captured the bishop. And here comes the most beautiful move in this game. Knight takes on h8, checkmate. Wow. Paul Morphy didn't even think of capturing the queen. It was unnecessary. It was a distraction. This is a beautiful mate. Just wonderful. The way it looks, the it's a very attractive checkmate. I think this is the ideal way to, again, white was always losing, black was always winning from an engine point of view, but from a human point of view, human chess is very different, and we are not machines, of course. So initiative, when your opponent has four or five of his pieces developed and you have just one of your piece developed, this is what will happen in 99% of the cases. One player will win. So what do we learn from this game? Well, we learned that there are three things, three elements in chess. One is quality of pieces, which white had. His pieces were much better. Even now, are much better than black's pieces. One is gain of time. You do everything with a attack, with a tempo. And the third one is material. So of course, black had material, but we had two elements, time and quality of pieces. And this is the one thing that you can learn from this game. Of course, not 100% accurate. And with the rook down, you can't really be accurate. Anything you play is still going to be bad. But the attack is so beautiful. And I do feel that at this point, the move rook to e1 is actually the mastermind, because Paul Murphy must have calculated everything right from this point. After takes, of course, this was a classical game. Takes, he must have calculated every single thing, and he must have seen this combination from a mile away. So, what a great game by the legendary master Paul Murphy. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. More videos are on the way. Bye.